Welcome back. This is still the special Independence Day broadcast. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, over the past 65 years, since October 1st, 1960, Nigeria has had periods of rapid growth, optimism, and national unity. And many look back at certain decades, especially the 1960s and the early 1970s, as a golden era in terms of promise, national identity, arts, and the likes. And that leads us to our conversation today, which is on Nigeria at 65, Reminiscence of the Golden Era of the Nation, with Chief Andrew Nebedum, a veteran broadcaster and senior citizen. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, we're happy to have you. Now, looking at the foundational aspect of this topic, what were the defining characteristics of Nigerian governance in the early years after independence, and in what way did they embody a golden era?
Well, when you talk of the golden era, the golden era came immediately after the army, rule in Nigeria. We have been under military rule for some years, many years, after the Civil War, and then there was military rule. So many governments were in power before we changed to democracy. And that democratic era was always punctuated by army takeovers. And it brought Nigeria backwards. The only golden era was when the civilians came in, Shagari administration. That was when I would say we had a golden era. Because, as they say, any bad civilian rule is better than best army, regime. So that era saw Nigeria move into. At that time, they said our oil was at the highest, point. Money was coming in, and people, when you had the Udoji Award, the government decided paying workers well, and everybody was happy. That was the golden era. We came into NPN regime, NPN and NPP regime. That era was fair, a little fair, but political thuggery almost marred that regime. Because that period, there were a lot of political misunderstandings. If people see you wearing the uniform of the other political party, I recall that by that time, during the NPN in the 80s, one of the visits we had, to Enugu from Owerri, where I was working for Radio Nigeria. We were in a NPN, a Radio Nigeria vehicle, because Radio Nigeria vehicles were painted green-white. And the opposition NPP, when they saw us, including us, the workers, they called us enemies. They branded us a lot of names. And one of the days we packed our vehicle to take something from somewhere, as we were heading to a place on a very serious assignment. Somebody said, who are these saboteurs who parked their vehicle in front of this place, abused us? We were about 6 in the vehicle, very tough guys in broadcasting then. They came out, they couldn't receive the insults, and it resulted into physical combat. They were all happening because there was tension between NPN and NPP. It was not a golden era. Some part of it was, actually. And after that, we had another army coup take over upon this, upon that, and Nigeria almost went, scattered. Apart from prayers from all walks of life, religious people were praying for Nigeria, and until the recent times when Nigeria could come back and went into democracy again. All those years, I could not believe that they were golden era, because a lot of things happened. You see your brother, because he's belonging to another political party, he's no longer your brother. If you saw what happened in Enugu here, husband and wives who belonged to different political parties could not eat together the house. But little did they know that these politicians, they go behind and mend ways. I recall one of the visits when we were sent to Jim Wobodo's house in Enugu when he was released from prison, and that was because as a result of his election with CCONO, and we went to welcome him. Oh my God. We were there, about 8 of us. I was representing Radio Nigeria with 2 other guys. So we saw 2 vehicles, jeeps, came in, and we have been waiting for Jim Wobo to give us an audience for more than 3 hours. Nobody talked to us. That vehicle came in. Behold, it was a CCONO, the man he was in battle with. And nobody could agree or believe that they will come together and talk together again. As he entered into the house, we had chocolates of spoons and tumblers and the laughs. But people have killed themselves because of them. That was a turbulent era. And Nigeria would not like to have it again. And of course, we were not attended to. We stayed there for 6 hours waiting for them to interview any of them. When they were about going, we went and said, yes, we are okay. There is no problem between us again. That was the only story we'll be able to take. There is no more problem between CCONO and Jim Wobo, and all these stories that went with it. So all I'm saying is that Nigeria actually saw hell if it were to be a human being. From one problem to the other, caused by human beings. Our fathers, I would say so, our fathers, who were selfish. Nigeria has a lot of wealth that will have gone round to even our children and children to come. But some people wanted to share it among themselves. That is what we are still suffering today.
Okay, so, sorry, now that you've mentioned this, then at what point did Nigeria have a golden era? Or are you saying that there has been no golden era for Nigeria at any point in Nigeria's history?
Well, the golden era would have been at the handover from the British colonial rule, when Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Awolowo, Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, and the rest of them took over. Nigeria was, do you talk about equating our naira, our money then, to foreign money? We had a very powerful currency that time. I used my money, kobo, to buy something. Kobo, coins, the one that you see perforated at the middle. When I was going to school, they would give me kobo. Kobo was enough to buy what you call breakfast now for children. Kobo, and you have some change. It was a golden era. But a lot of people saw it as a gold mine for them and decided to share the booty alone. Whereas those who fought for the independence, almost, lost their lives. So it was the golden era. But after that, I don't think we have had rest since after, independence, from one trouble to another.
All right. Now, we recall that the efforts made by our founding fathers, the likes of Nnamdi Azikiwe, Obafemi Awolowo, they made so much impact. Let's take, for instance, that they were to come back to life and look at the country and what it is facing now. Would you say that, that their dreams and aspirations are being carried out, or would you say it's just a state of disillusionment?
If they come back to see Nigeria now, they will all be weeping. They will all be crying, even from their graves. I know they are crying right now. You see, Nigeria, the kind of corruption, nepotism, tribalism that is now in Nigeria is unquantifiable. It wasn't so then. The only things we had that time was that and their political, what do you call it? The kind of elections we had in those days was not as turbulent as we have today. There was a time M.I. Opera wanted to go to Ibadan to canvass for votes. Ibadan people told him not to come, that they will not receive him. M.I. Opera said, okay. He came here arranged with NCNC. And told them that he was coming at the Apu Hall in Ibadan. As expected, MI came. When he came out from his car, he was brandishing his distant decotum, MI power, MI power, MI power. Nothing happened. He went and had his political campaign and went freely. But if it were now, remember the other day, the governor of Edo State told Peter Obi not to come to Edo State. It was not done. It is now, campaign of calumny. And a lot of them, those things were things that made Nigeria set us far, far behind. Those who handed over democracy to us, if they were to be here, they would take it back from us.
All right. Seeing that their rule was much more better than now, what is the difference in the pattern of their leadership and, the pattern of the leadership right now? What's the difference?
Well, the pattern of leadership then was they give you what is due you. There was no much discrimination. That was why people from the East, now called the Southeast, rose to excellence, high tops. If you go to civil service, both federal, you see people from the Southeast occupying big positions. Igbos were everywhere because their kind of life. They're intelligent, they are traders, they penetrate all nooks and crannies of this country. But today, in government, you can count how many persons in Igbo nation that is, occupying any position. They will make appoint ministers. The type, the ones they will give to the Igbos is the one that has nothing to do to the economy or to attract anything for their people. Hatred. That is what we are seeing today. It wasn't there before. What is ever due you, if there are 4 things to be shared, they shared it according to regions. It was in regions in those days, not states. Eastern region, Western region, Northern region. They further divided it to Northwest, Northeast, Southwest, South, and the rest of them. And I would say that the delineation of Nigeria caused a lot of problems instead of solving problems. I remember when we were in the Eastern region, oh my God, you see people working together. Now, even Anambra State that was separated the other day, when you travel from Enugu to Anambra, they look at you as a visitor. They won't even welcome you. Look at Boy. The other day, Boy was Enugu State, Enugu State. Go to a boy now, they say, where is he coming from? Enugu. And the Enugu people will say, Abakaliki, the boy state. That is nonsense. So when we say we have matured to 65 years, I'm saying this because I'm older than Nigeria. Nigeria independence in 1960. I'm 7 years older than Nigeria. I remember that in 1960, when Zeke came to our school, I was small. They showed us cups that looked like this with Nigerian colors and then flags. Oh my God, we were very happy. We stood by the roadside for more than 4 hours waiting for Nnamdi Azikiwe. For us, he was a hero for getting us a country and independence. So, but these days, I think people of these days, they've forgotten all the victory made by these forefathers.
So, Mr. Nibedum, where did we get it wrong? What happened in later decades after our independence that brought this much decline and stagnation in Nigeria? Where did we miss it as a country?
Well, I'll say that the last straw that broke the camel's back was the war, the civil war that started in 1966. And what kicked off the war was the coup d'etat in Nigeria, when the army boys, did a coup, and in the end, that coup was tagged Igbo coup, because the soldiers who staged the coup, not all of them were Igbos, but it was tagged Igbo coup. People said that the number of people they slated to kill in the coup, none of them from the east was killed. That the soldiers succeeded in killing the Hausas and not the Igbos. And before you say Jack Robinson, Igbos in the north were slaughtered like goats. There was mayhem. And, the man governing the East, Colonel Odumegwu Ojukwu, said, no. All my people should come back. And if you were there then, even as a girl, I went to army. A kindergarten army. I was 11 years by that year, 1966. 11 years. We all went into, what we call a boys' company to help our country. They were bringing dead bodies from the north in trailers, and people were crying. As they are dropping these, others are coming. And that's, people now said, if we are all going to perish, let's perish. That was when Nigeria scattered. There was no longer trust. If you see your brother from the north, you now see him as an enemy. If the north sees anybody from Igbo land, they were even regarding all of us from the south as Igbos. They maltreat us. And it is continuing. Even in political, in political balance now, they say, once you are not from this side, they share ministries, share everything without any tangible thing to the southeast. The south, later after the war, alienated with them. That's why they are getting something from them. So it is continuing, and people are not happy. And the worst of it is the agitations going on everywhere. I can hear agitations from the southeast. The young boys, after hearing what happened to their fathers and forefathers, said, no, it won't continue again. You can see what is happening. Nnamdi Kanu, who wanted to speak on behalf of the Igbos, has been incarcerated and all efforts made for him to be released is proven abortive. 2-3 times the courts have released him, but the powers that be insisted that he will not be released. We thought it was the government of Buhari that locked him up, and that when he leaves, that Bola Ahmed Tinubu will say, no, you have suffered a lot, be released. But he continued. The other day he went to court, pleading that all allegations, be quashed. They said, no, you have, some queries to answer about terrorism. Whereas we have terrorists abound in Nigeria. Some of them, they negotiate with them to release them. And the people who they did not see do anything, or somebody did not see do anything, is still being incarcerated. So something is there. Ask yourself a question. So how can Nigeria be said to be good at 65 years? Imagine 65-year-old man would have gotten his children. If he still have children to be trained in school, then he did not do well. People like us, our children are all, graduated, doing some other good jobs,
Right.
So, if you ask me personally, I'm not happy the way Nigeria is going.
All right, Mr. Nebedum. So if we compare the countries that received independence at the same time with Nigeria, countries like Congo, Mali, and the rest, where is Nigeria currently, if we want to compare?
I don't want us to compare with any country. Because if you talk of Congo, that time Nigeria was fighting, Congo was good when we are dancing to Congo music. But today, Congo is in hell. Series of wars. Cost, I would say Africa is costs. Africa. Somebody will be ruling a country for so many years and refuse to relinquish the position. You are not looking at the people you are ruling. You are not taking care of the people. When they talk, you lock up the person and you will not see him again. So, I'm not comparing any country with Nigeria. Nigeria is on its own. Even some people say that Nigeria is better than so many African countries. Can you talk of Cote d'Ivoire? Congo? Congo is now divided. We have the Democratic Republic of Congo, DR Congo. Then you have Congo. So all those big, presidents who ruled in those days, they will be crying wherever they are. The other day, you saw what happened in Gabon. Their president refused to go. And I don't know if he even died in office and his son took over. So, democracy is not thriving in Nigeria, even though the only thing we could do is that since they take over of civilians from the military, we have been enjoying it because they continue to say that the worst civilian rule is better than any army rule. That's what they say.
All right. Chief Andrew Nebedum,
yes,
thank you so much for coming
in.
You
addressed me well now, yes.
Yes. Thank you for coming in, and that is where we're going to end our conversation this afternoon. We're still at Nigeria at 65, the reminiscence of the golden era of the nation. Over to you, Uche.
All right, and we'll go on a quick timeout, and when we return, we'll have more coming your way. Do stay with us.